Welcome back, Knights. I'm Samuel Rice.
And I'm Sarah Evans. Welcome to our 21st episode of Vervecast.
Today, we'll discuss CTA's archery club,
Ty Faulk's journey to his doctorate degree,
and the swim team's victory at the state championship. Vervecast starts now. First up is the Teens Academy Archery program, which started as a summer camp. However, its popularity made coaches contemplate making it a year-round program. Let's hear more about it from Evelyn.
Thanks, Samuel. Archery coach Barry Singer has an extensive history in bow hunting. His love for the bow led him to start a ministry in archery over 5 years ago.
10 or 15 years ago, we started a program at our church called Center Shot Archery. And so I was a coach there. We did father-son, father-daughter classes. And so we would shoot archery, and we use archery as a platform for evangelism and discipleship.
After 2 successful summer camps, Coach Singer started a year-round weekly archery club in the fall of 2022 for elementary and middle school students. When the spring semester rolled around, they gave high school students the opportunity to join the club on Monday nights from 6 to 8 at the high school assembly room.
Well, a practice day, usually we'll start off with what's called a string bow. It's just we use this to practice the 11 steps of archery success. This looks basically, it looks like a bow. And we use it as a bow without an arrow just to practice the 11 steps. And so we can get good muscle memory and learn the steps so that whenever we can do those steps without thinking about it.
The Archery Club has its first tournament on March 25th in the lower school building. If you have a love for shooting and want to pick up this new hobby, don't hesitate to consider this unique club. Back to you, Samuel.
Thanks, Evelyn. Next up is a fascinating story about Mr. Faulk's doctorate in Christian education. Let's hear more about this from Chloe.
Thanks, Samuel. Mr. Ty Faulk began by studying biblical and theological studies at Reformed Theological Seminary in Dallas. After graduating with a master's degree, Mr. Faulk decided to pursue a master's in theology and a doctorate of education at Midwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. After over a decade of college, Mr. Faulk reflects on his accomplishments.
Yeah, so I got my master's at Reformed Theological Seminary, and so there's like 6 campuses of RTS around, but there's an Atlanta campus where I went. So it was nice. I did some weekend classes, but I did mostly summer. So I would do 2 or 3 classes in the summer, and they were like week-long intensives. So you'd have work before and after, but I'd have to go down to the campus for like a week for that class. So I'd put them all together, and I would do like 3 weeks in the summer and knock out 9 credits, and then I would do just a January term or May term, however I found it. So.
To obtain a master's degree, Mr. Faulk wrote a dissertation founded on research taken from Christian schools. His over 400-page dissertation reported how equipping teachers with spiritual survey results helped them to be more intentional with their learning integration.
So it depends kind of on what your doctorate is. Since mine was a Christian education doctorate, my work was on like a project in a school setting. So we did a research project in a school setting. So chapters 1 through 4 of the dissertation is kind of writing to prep for that research project. Then you implement the research project for like a year, and then you write the results.
Mr. Faulk's dissertation took over 4 years to complete, requiring immense determination.
So there's part of me that wanted to quit for sure. But then once I started writing the dissertation, it's like, well, you're in too deep now. So it really was just putting one foot in front of the other, where it was like, okay, I'm going to apply for a program. Okay, now I'm going to take the first class. And eventually I finished, so, thankfully.
As a doctor of education and theology, Mr. Faulk has the opportunity to impact students in a deeper and more meaningful way.
But it allowed me to not have a ceiling. I'm not really sure where the Lord's where He's gonna call me. I'm called to be here. But where He'll call me here, I don't know. I mean, even all of us looking forward, we don't know how things will change or what will be needed. So I feel like what the doctorate did is it allowed me to eliminate any ceiling, I would have to be like, oh, well, we want you to do this, or you're feeling called to this, but you don't really have the education for that or whatever. What I really like about it too is, being a teacher, like I love being here at King's because my kids are here, my family's here. But being a teacher, you do have you have some summers where you can do some things, you have time off where you can do some things. So I like having the doctorate because it can allow me to do things like write or develop curriculum or, have little side things that I do. Because as a teacher, you kind of need side hustles. It's just kind of the way it is. So I'd like to be able to do meaningful side hustles, things like writing or doing curriculum or teaching seminary college classes on the side or things like that, things that are meaningful and helpful. So the doctorate really opens the door for that as well.
Clearly, students here at King's are reaping the benefits of Mr. Faulk's perseverance and hard work. He's such an inspiration. Back to you, Sarah.
Thanks, Chloe. Our next story covers our swim team's incredible performance at the Gap State Meet. Let's go to Marianne for the story.
Thanks, Sarah. The King's Academy swim team celebrated another successful season, including their first ever public school meet, winning the Gap State Championship and breaking 12 school records. The state meet took place on Saturday, January 28 at the Cherokee Aquatic Center. Varsity and JV boys and girls won first place after fighting all day for the victory against 16 other teams.
The first thing, the relays, were the most important event that we had to win the whole meet. It was pretty close, and it was the first meet we were pretty close because we usually win all the meets, but this one was the first one that was close.
Each student brings their own talents to the table in swimming. A competitor in each type of stroke and race is vital to a successful swim team.
I do a lot of freestyle and butterfly, which butterfly is like this one. And I had a lot of fun doing IMs, which is doing every stroke. It's basically 4 laps of every stroke. And that's a really tough one, which I got better at this year.
This talented group of students grew together as a team as the season progressed, becoming unified in both athletic and casual environments.
I think the binding factor was definitely the coaches. The coaches made a big difference with setting things up, doing different activities outside of swim, like swim parties. I know we hosted one. We did several Christmas parties and just things like that.
Head swim coach Raw is passionate about building relationships and fun times through swim. With their collaboration, the swim team proved themselves yet again by winning the state championship.
Well, that's a wrap, Knights. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this broadcast, you can find our previous episodes on our YouTube channel.
If you want to read more about what we covered and more, check out our website and be on the lookout for issue 3 in your doc folder. And remember,
The Verve is your voice.